Alright guys, so what I'm going to teach you guys how to do here is how to make a polar panorama. Now a polar panorama is a panorama that's been wrapped to make a circular image that's all wrapped around one point. It makes the panorama look like a little planet or like a circle of land that's been wrapped around a circular sky. It comes out looking pretty cool. If you go ahead and Google that, you'll find some pretty cool examples of it. But anyway, first and foremost, you're going to need your panorama. It's going to need to be a 360-degree panorama, and the sides are going to need to be as flush as you can possibly make them. Now, you can see this bush right here, this bush right here. It's a continuation of the same bush. If they aren't matched up perfectly, it could result with your planet, for example, like we're going to make here. It could be a giant rift in the planet. It could end up looking pretty crazy. So you want to make those matched up as best as they possibly can. Also, if you use photo merge like I did to create this panorama, it results in the final panorama looking pretty crazy. There's a lot of giant errors, like for example, you can see a slight line right here. I tried to correct for this, but there used to be a lot more in this image. I had to do a lot of editing to make it look the way it does right now. For example, this grate right here was completely broken up. Um, Essentially, the better you can make the image look before you convert it into a polar panorama, the better it will be when you finally convert it over. Also, the amount of ground right here determines the depth of your planet, and also the amount of sky inversely determines the amount of sky you're going to have around it. So you're going to want to edit it down to make it the depth that you want. You're going to see the effects right here of this kind of depth. This is roughly at about, I would say, anywhere from 25 to 30% of the whole height of the image. So you guys will see how that affects it in a minute. Now, anyway, the first step to this process is you're going to need to go image, canvas size, and you're going to want to make your canvas a perfect square. So you're going to want to make the width equal to the height. And make sure your width stays the way it was before, or else it's just going to cut out sections of your panorama. Don't want that to happen. So here we go. This makes a nice square canvas, as you can see here. Now for the purpose of my image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go image, image rotation, and flip canvas vertically. Now this essentially makes the ground at the center of my polar panorama, which will make it look like a planet. Pretty much the side that's going upwards will be the center of your polar panorama after we go through the filters, which I'll explain in a minute. Now, anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to take this panorama and you're going to move it up to the top of the screen. Now, you can make it flush with the top of the screen, or you can give it a little bit of space. Now, I like to give it a little bit of space because this creates a small hole at the center of the planet that will essentially allow me to edit in a little bit more grass there. If you make it flush with the top, it creates a strange distorted point at the center. So this will allow you a little more room to make it a little prettier. And it also reduces the distortion in the rest of the image if you allow for a little more space. So we're going to go distort, where is distort right here? And we're going to go polar coordinates. A little time for the software to work here. Yeah, if you are working with a laptop like I do, it might run a little bit slowly. But anyway, here you go. Here's your polar panorama, at least what it's supposed to look like. Now you can see that little hole I was talking about right here. I go ahead and use the clone stamp tool, the patch tool to fill it in, whatever you want to. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Give a little bit of time for the program to work. Definitely takes a little bit of effort. And there you go. You have your little polar panorama right here. As you can see, it looks pretty small right now. So what you want to do is go ahead and crop the image down to just what you want. You can also adjust the image size to make the image itself a perfect square, but that can result in a lot of distortion to your final panorama. Now, I know some tutorials tell you to do that. I personally don't like to do it. I like to go ahead and edit the canvas size in order to give me more control over the image. So as you can see, yeah, you have your little hole here. You can go ahead and fill that in with the clone stamp tool, fill in with whatever you want. But anyway, that's the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys make some awesome images using this.